from the parking lot of Denny's in Linden, New Jersey. Welcome to
Why is it got to be Linden, New Jersey? Why you got to start this shit off already?
You knew we had to get to Linden at some point.
Yeah,
we had to get.
You know, when I was a kid, of course, I thought that
it was named after you.
After you, yeah. Yes, of course I did. And there's an Elizabeth, New Jersey, and I thought that was named after me too.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's ImmaLetYouFinish with your host, the Captain and Tennille. I'm Tony Tennille. Welcome.
Again. This is already starting. I'm being abused. I'm a parking lot, and I'm the guy who did nothing in the group. Who wore a hat.
But wasn't he the producer? He was the producer, right?
Yeah, but nobody. What was his name?
Daryl. As we both know it.
All right.
But
a really good friend and I, we used to refer to each other as Shields and Yarnell. She and I would call each other Shields and Yarnell.
Okay, now the crazy thing is, though, then we found out years later that they had some weird loveless marriage, and it was really sort of like a thing.
Would you want to be with somebody who looked like that? In my heart of hearts, her and Anne Murray were hooking up.
I love Anne Murray.
I know. And Anne Murray probably would not love you, though. That's the thing.
Oh, God. Is she one of those terrible people?
No, she's gay. Wasn't she?
She is?
Okay. Wasn't she? Or was everybody just assumed she was gay? That's it. Everybody thought she was gay.
I don't know. I never heard that, but I mean, it could be. I've never heard that, though.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with being gay. Anyway, but I always thought, wasn't she? Oh, she's one of those people that gay. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Well, she's Canadian.
Yeah, that's it. Ay, Dios mío.
Well, no, I'm just saying it's like she might be able to, like, you know, be a real outdoorsy lady and then also not be a homosexual.
That's true. I mean, you're a real outdoorsy lady, and you're not an outdoorsy lady.
So sweet. That is the nicest thing anybody has ever said to me on Valentine's Day. So I really appreciate it. Oh, thank you.
You're an outdoorsy lady.
And then you are so kind. That was just really love.
You're a handsome woman.
I'm a handsome woman.
All right.
We're so
enough with this. Shenanigans of the shenanigan stuff. Mm-hmm. All right, so there was a concert the other day, and then they had a football game that went around it, right?
Mm-hmm, they sure did. Okay. And it was like this lady came out, and she had floating stages and stuff.
Listen, the production on that was insane.
Listen. The production, when you really look at it, the production was first of all, they were really high.
They were really high.
When I saw how high Rihanna was, I was like, oh, shit. The first thing, it's so funny.
We're talking about Rihanna at the Super Bowl, for those of you who've been in a coma for the last 3 days.
I had like a million text messages. Everybody was like, is Rihanna pregnant? Because that was the first, literally as soon as I saw her, I was like, oh, this is your pregnancy. And then I started thinking back, every time we've seen her, it's been in very large clothes, right? And even when she did her interview, she had this huge jacket on.
Well, I, of course, would like, when people started saying that, I'm like, wait a minute, what insurance company is going to let a pregnant woman dangle 5,000 feet from the ground? I mean, seriously, that was true. Like, my neighbor is a film director, and she said the direction and the production, anybody who reads on the interwebs, oh, it was so sparse. Are you kidding me? That was insane how good it looked. Well, that was an idea she stole from Kanye.
Let me just say this.
So I thought it looked great.
I understand both sides of it. I understand people who said it's boring. I get why they would think that, because we're used to a spectacle in the halftime show, and Rihanna has never, like, her live shows have never been the strongest point. She's a great recording artist. She's one of the ones who's going to get in the studio. She's going to be able to give you tons of hits. She's a great visual video artist, but the stage is not. That's actually, to me, the weakest area out of all of the things that she does. She's got such a cool girl aesthetic, right? It's hard to make that explosive and exciting. You have to that's a vibe. And I think what she did was create a vibe, which if you're expecting, most Super Bowl shows are coming with explosions and 50 million guest stars.
She's not a flash pot girl.
She's not going to give that. I appreciated that she didn't change. She just put on like the Elia coat. There was a tribute to Andre. I appreciate that she didn't do any ballads. And, listen, she went hit after hit after hit after hit after hit. And for her, to me, this is the best performance she's ever done.
I thought she was, there is, all right, first off, she looked phenomenal by the time I figured out she was pregnant, but whatever, she looked phenomenal.
She looked great.
There's people carping about the lip syncing. I'm sorry, everyone lip syncs at the Super Bowl. Newsflash. Maybe the only person who didn't was Prince. Okay, so
it's always a mixture of live.
She was singing, and she. Big shock. She knew what she was doing. She wasn't fucking up and pulling the mic away. She's a seasoned professional. Okay, so there's that. She looked phenomenal. I'm sitting there going, holy crap, this catalog is so deep.
And it was only a scratch, if you think about it. It was literally only a scratch of all of the hits.
No, and she stuck to all the, as the kids say, bangers. And people are carping about the fact that she did all of the lights because Kanye and blah. You know what? She has as much right to that song as he does.
She's fucking on the song. Everybody needs to stop. She didn't bring Kanye out.
I don't think it's a cosign on Kanye, though. I will tell you, there was a part of me was like, oh, Jesus, he's not going to like parachute out of the sky at some point, is he? I watched it in real time, obviously. And then I watched it again last night closer so I could see it closer up. And for those of you who are saying she was sleepwalking, that girl's face was like she was giving super attitude throughout the entire thing. She looked like she was having a blast. She was dangling from 9,000 feet up. And the only time they cut away, they said when they would show the fireworks is when they were unhooking her or hooking her. Or the court, was it supposed to, all right, I read something crazy. It was supposed to be they were supposed to be sperm, the little dancers. And
that's what everybody's trying to call it. I don't believe she was going to have dancing sperm.
Dancing sperm. No,
it's like, oh Lord,
she's already had dancing sperm. She's pregnant for the second time. Yeah,
I absolutely understand why people found it boring. I do, 1,000%. I get that because it definitely it was one note. It went across like this, right? It was a vibe. If you didn't catch that vibe, then you're going to look at it
in the middle. You're going to
be like, this was boring. I didn't get it. But you have to look at the artist, and I think that everybody forgets because we love all of her tunes, and she's got great tunes. She's not like some of these other girls. She's performed on a lot of shows, but she doesn't have that definitive like award show performance or that definitive tour moment where you're like, she burnt that stage to the ground. That's not who she is.
That's not who she
is
at all.
I think she did, to the top of her capability and her talent and her artistry, the best that she could do. And to me, this was the best performance she's ever had. I've seen her in concert.
Yeah, I've never seen her.
And I was bored at a Rihanna show. That is the truth. She had all the hits, but I was like, that, you know what I mean? You have to, and the people who love her, it's like the people who love anybody, the way I, love Madonna and people who love Beyonce. It's like the people who love her, you of course, you're going to see no wrong. She's your girl. She sang all your songs. She looked beautiful. You hit it. That is a point of view. For the people who look at it and felt like it didn't have the energy of a Super Bowl performance, it actually didn't. So I understand that. It was a different vibe.
It was a totally. I'm sorry. I just don't like it when they always compare the women against the women. She's not Beyonce. Stop comparing her against Beyonce. Is a lane unto herself.
And it's not fair to honestly, it's just not fair to compare anybody to Beyonce because when she gets on the stage, it's like she's going to do her thing. Gaga gets on the stage, she's going to do her thing.
Right.
Rihanna did her thing for who she is and how she performs. This is the thing. And this was the highest level of it. I thought I don't think people realize the technical wonder that show was. Like, as somebody who's had to do award show shit.
But that was
Let me just tell you something.
That was insane.
That is a lot of I mean, that is down to the millisecond. Everything had to be
cued
because you have people who are, they're being held by their weight. There's so much that has to go right especially with them moving. It's not like they just went up and stayed up. They were moving and doing things. So
and then when in the finale, with Diamond, she's like levitating out of the thing.
She literally was at the fourth level of the fucking stage.
And like I said, they would cut to the fireworks so that they could do the work. And so then when people are like, oh, it's not supposed to be. Yeah, you can't have it both ways. You can't say you want a production and then harp on the person for leaning on the production.
Well, here's the thing. It's a production. And a production is like a show. There are
it's a Broadway show.
There are moving parts to it. Just like when you go to a concert, if there are times, if you are actually paying attention, you will see things moving, and sometimes you'll see people in back who are working the things. It's a production, people.
Yeah.
And it was, and honestly, I thought it was the first night I watched it with Miguel. That is his girl, and we were watching, and I was like, okay, cool. Yeah. I thought it was cool. I was like, I'm a little bored.
And then you watch it again.
I watched it again the next day. I said, now the anticipation, what's it going to be?
Let me focus in on it.
Let me look at it. And I was like, you know what? For who she is and how I've seen her perform, this is the best she's ever done.
Yeah.
And this was great. The way they put the songs together were great. I loved her outfit. I love that she didn't change 40 million times. And
Me too.
And I absolutely loved that she didn't bring out any guests. She was like, this is my show.
Yeah. Like I said, I had absolutely no problem. And again, watching it again yesterday on a laptop as opposed to, from a screen. First off, I was just ecstatic. I was like, oh my God, she has so many hits. It was seamless. They went to put 13 songs, 12 songs in 13 minutes.
Right. And
none of them felt like a medley. It didn't feel like a medley. She had a little attitude. Okay, she sat down for 5 seconds. She's pregnant. And I do want to say this I am going to grade on the pregnancy curve. I'm sorry. I am, because obviously, all right, I don't know how pregnant she is, but she obviously did not know she was pregnant when she signed the contract. And then she went through with it. And as someone who has had a baby, if she was in her second trimester, then she's going to have energy. If she's in her first trimester,
she did.
But I'm just saying that's usually the way it goes.
Or maybe she did sign a contract. She's like, you know what?
Well, how long ago was this? Was she announced?
Those deals usually happen
like a long time
ago. October, November. Well, the point is she's showing. I love it. Pregnant. Maybe she showed. Beyonce did promotion while pregnant. Lemonade, remember, she was out there pregnant. She performed on the Grammys pregnant. Madonna, when she started the music album, she was pregnant. She's pregnant in the video for Music Went in the Back.
Right.
I think it was to show that women, pregnancy is not an illness. You can actually get up and go to work. Remember the legendary Nana Cherry, honey, out there on stage, pregnant.
Well, this is a big, this is a big audience.
Was great.
And no, I had no problem. And as someone, like I said, I had to stop riding my bike in my 4th month because I was literally like, I'm losing my balance. No, I mean, it's a real thing, okay? I mean, so I will
You're still losing your balance. You love to lose your balance.
I am still losing my balance. All right. Some people lose their religion. I'm losing my balance. And if oh my God, it was a publicity stunt. I'm sorry, has everyone been napping? That's what the Super Bowl is.
Oh, Lord.
They don't get paid for it. It is, I'm sorry, didn't Beyonce announce her tour after the Super Bowl?
Literally.
And
allows top pregnancy with Blue Ivy at the VMAs.
Right. Remember, the Super Bowl the Super Bowl is a publicity thing. They're not doing it for Christian charities. They're doing it to put themselves out there. So
it's a non-paid gig. You're not showing up for nothing.
And she's paying for the workers. The NFL, I think, pay. But the point is that, oh my God, my pearls are clutched. Artists who make money making music are doing something to get publicity. Courtney, why aren't there congressional hearings on this?
Well, can I just say,
this is stunning.
People are idiots. I realize that people just want to be upset. It's like,
it's social
what
media.
will you expect? It's Rihanna. Were you expecting fucking Beethoven? Like, have a seat.
Rihanna.
She's a pop star. Right. Pop stars come with production and the things. And that's what we want.
She's probably the closest to in terms of like, I'm not. She's probably no. Dua Lipa in the sense that Dua Lipa is got the catalog and a great voice and a vibe, but Dua Lipa is never going to get confused with a dancer.
No. Absolutely not.
But the difference between Dua Lipa and Rihanna, and I think Rihanna has just said, fuck it. I don't need to be confused with a dancer. I got that Fenty money. I'm not doing it.
No, Dua Lipa be out there.
Tries.
She tries a little bit more. And this last tour, she actually picked it up. And she did. And it got her a little groove where it's like, okay, girl, get it. And even the do a dance has now become a thing.
I love it. Listen, I had a good time. No ornaments were filmed were harmed during.
And she looked really happy when she got off stage. She looked really happy.
If anyone, we all deserve happiness, but that woman deserves all the happiness she can have.
120 million people tuned in. 118 million people tuned into the game.
Third biggest viewership,
120 million people tuned in to watch her. So she's the second highest rated.
Is it second? I thought. Whatever.
The Super Bowl is the third. This was the third highest rated show in television history.
Got it.
Rihanna's performance was the second, only behind Katy Perry, who still had 121 million.
And you know what made it really cool while she was up there? If they had shot down one of those UFOs that are flying around, those balloons, that would have been fabulous, right?
And just let it rain down.
All the Chinese, Chinese equipment raining down. That would have been amazing. No, yay, Rihanna. Yay. I am all in favor of wealthy, good-looking people having babies, by the way. I think good. You have a baby. Loved the Fenty product placement. Loved it. Loved it. I had no problems. I had absolutely no problems. And that catalog, great googly moogly. Great. And good for her for not dragging Jay out of the good seats and up on stage. Nobody's going to take my shine at this point.
Really good for her for not adding Lift Me Up, because I was just like, please don't sing
God,
that.
no bows. She was not stupid. She didn't do Take a Bow or whatever. Not Take a Bow. That's
no, she has Take a Bow. She has to Take a Bow.
Right. But I'm saying no, do all the bang, 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 which is why I'm not mad at All the Lights, which is not why I'm not mad at Run This Town, because why shouldn't she have that?
Those are her songs too.
Those songs are defined by the hook.
And they're her songs too.
They're her songs.
She has a lot to sing.
So everybody needs to calm their asses down. There.
All those same people probably secretly in the house still listening to Kanye. So what they're going to do is
I don't. The people I've seen are definitely not listening to Kanye. That's for sure. Yeah, but I had a good time and life going on, and I still had to wake up on Monday. All right. The funniest thing I saw was people like, why didn't they? Some people, showmen, and somebody wrote something really funny. I don't know this person, but they're a Facebook friend and they're writers. They said the halftime show was half committed, and a guy wrote back, she's pregnant. She seems fully committed to me.
That part.
All right. So and so, of course, because people are idiots, first they're bitching about Harry Styles at the Grammys, and now people are like, well, why wasn't someone like Harry Styles at the show? First off, he's not an American. It is an American show, and
hold on,
went to the Brits.
Only Americans don't do it, because U2 has done it. U2 have done it. Yeah.
That's true.
No, it's just a matter of.
Well, he was at the Brits.
There comes a place in time for you to. That's the biggest gig. You don't get it usually new. You know what I mean?
You don't get it a week after the Grammys.
That is like.
You earn it.
You earn that shit. Rihanna's been in the industry at this point for almost 20 years. You know what I'm saying? It's been a very long time. You think about the people who get that gig. It's like everybody just needs to shut up.
Everybody just needs to shut up. Just really, everybody needs to just take a social media break and think about the fact that if they went up to a person on the street and started rambling on about this for an hour, that person would walk away after 5 minutes, and that's how we
punch them in the face. It's like people like to say a lot of shit behind their keyboards that they won't say. Say it to my motherfucking face. You know what I mean? Don't be a keyboard warrior, because everybody's brave behind the keyboard.
All right, so the Brit Awards, I didn't watch all of it, but I do think the highlight was when the announcer called Lewis Capaldi Sam Capaldi. And I'm sitting there going, I'm not a huge Lewis Capaldi fan, but does he have a brother? Who's Sam Capaldi?
I mean,
I think they drink. I think they drink during that show.
Well,
right?
they do.
Like
they
the
drink and
United
eat
States.
during that show.
Yeah.
They get booze. They get food.
You know the Brits. Everything
They're like,
has to have a
listen.
cocktail.
Unlike the Grammys too, they have better tables. Their tables are sexy
the
the way they had it
tables
set
were
up, and they
lovely.
have all of the things. The Grammys, I feel like they sat them at two small tables with a lamp and a little fucking.
Yeah, what was up with the lamp?
I don't know. And everybody else had to bring their own flask because they weren't trying to
I
give
know.
them real booze.
Anyway, so the Brits, and I'm not surprised that Harry. Listen, he's their boy. Even though we love him here, he is homegrown, and we do know that the British people sometimes have a tendency of eating their own and like, oh, you're big in America, we're not going to like you anymore. And they have not done that with him because he's very loyal to England. He has never tried.
He's a Cheshire boy.
Yeah, he's never tried to pretend that he's American. He was very grateful to be home. He performed. It was great. No revolving stage. They learned their lesson. So he just sang the song. I love the fact that he's a booster. I mean, he was so happy when Wet Leg won. You've heard his cover of, oh my God, I forget the song of the Wet Leg song.
Shay's Lounge?
No, he doesn't do Shay's Lounge. He does, oh my God, he does a great cover. Anyway, it was fun. I
like the Wet Leg. I like the Wet Leg girls. They just shouldn't do speeches. They're not good at
Why? What did they say?
They're just rambling about. You could just tell they're really gagged that this is happening.
Yeah, I mean,
they're very sort of like, what the fuck?
Yeah, these are not like these are girls from like the Isle of Wight, which is like literally like it's like growing up on Governor's Island. I mean, they're nowhere. So I am never mad when you have women who are just pushing against what you're supposed to do. And I love the staging, and I thought it was hilarious. I love Lizzo, but I just feel like I'm always listening to like meditation, bad meditation mantras. But she can sing. So that is her saving grace. She can sing, and she looks great, and I would love one day the conversation about Lizzo not having the word body positivity, because I think that's such a back-ass compliment. Like, oh, look at you don't mind that you're fat. That's what people are saying.
It's like they want somebody, they wanted to walk around hating herself. It's like they would almost like it if she would just be like, well, woke up today and my gout was bothering me.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? It's like, what the fuck?
I don't know. My BMI is relatively okay, and I'm sure as hell not able to do what she can do with a flute. Who else won? So Beyonce got international, so everybody can shut up.
She won two things. Yeah, she won international artist.
So funny when you think of her as international.
I know,
right? Really? Yeah, she's from Texas.
Which is international.
It is international. So Harry won the big ones.
Yeah,
right?
he won a bunch of the big ones. I think Arctic Monkey won.
I love Arctic Monkeys. Yeah. I can't believe they're still around.
And I want to say in his speech, the lead singer was walking up stage, said, "Fuck the Tories."
Good. Well, British people have the same attitude towards the Brits as Americans have toward the Grammy. Like, it's bullshit. Who cares? It obviously it does care, and the performances are good. They just always seem, maybe because we're American and we view everything through this lens of, oh my God, the British, but they always just seem to be having a way better time at their award shows.
I mean, because we're all so uptight here. Look at the tables we did here. Their tables are full of bottles, and everybody's getting drunk and having a good time. And then at the Grammys, it's like, it was so weird. It's like, it was like artists and then random seat fillers that were all put all around. I was like, what is this?
There are some artists, I don't know if you want a bottle in front of them.
I'm not saying it that way. But
it's looser.
It's just factual. That's how their tables are set up. I mean, it's set up like a party atmosphere.
It feels more like a club. It feels more like a nightclub.
And a celebration.
Yeah.
And our stuff here always just seems
like an award show.
Right, with half the people not really sitting in the audience,
or half the people rolling in an hour late.
Yeah,
and also a sense of people. I like the fact that Harry Styles was not up front. Like, I know I'm going to win. I like that he had to make his way through the crowd. I don't know. It's a smaller country, obviously, and a smaller industry, and so everybody probably knows they do know each other, not in a sense of like, I hang out with you because you're famous. Because anyway, I thought it was fun what I watched. All right, Janet. All right, so what was it? All right, this Janet Jackson was going to get this stupid Dr. Dre I Beat Up Women award. I know that's not what it's called. It's the Global Impact. we can have a discussion as to what impact Dr. Dre has had other than.
Well, no, because he got the inaugural. It was some other award, and it was like supposed to be her and Lil Wayne, I believe, wasn't it?
And Missy, Lil Wayne, her, but he actually got this stupid award.
Oh, okay.
Which is like, I don't know what that means. And global impact. What does that mean? That you've sold a lot.
But my thing is, it just comes back to then they couldn't figure some shit out, and I'm just like, how is years later?
We're talking about Janet and still with the Viacom incident.
And like, still, how are y'all not able to get this right? If you're trying to make something right with someone, then do what you need to do to make it right. But it's like, I just don't understand, because why are we even going through this again? You know what I mean? It just feels
I'm going to play devil's advocate. I understand her point, but everyone who associated with that awful blackballing of her and that bullshit is gone.
Yeah,
they're gone. So
they are all gone. They really are all gone.
And what they did to her, what Les Moonves did to her, and those stupid
really
men did to her was awful. But they're gone. And this could have been her moment to come out there and go, and I survived, you jerks.
And I'm still here. Yeah, right. Absolutely. So that's why I'm sitting here like, why did this fall apart? Like, I just don't understand. I just don't.
Yeah, but Dre. Did you read the D Barnes wrote?
I mean, you know what I love about D Barnes is that shit happened to her, and she will not let you forget it. Whenever some things come up, she's like, I want you guys to remember this.
Right, and that's important. And that's important because I'm sorry. His apologies, Dr. Dre's apologies for physical abuse have always been couched around. If I hurt anyone, or this blanket apology, or I'm promoting something. So screw him. Really seriously screw him. I feel the same way about Bobby Brown should not be given a platform anymore.
Oh, and I know how you feel about Chris Brown too.
Not Bobby Brown. I'm sorry, take it. Chris Brown. Bobby Brown is fine. I got no problem with him. Chris Brown.
Ooh, boy, you get irritated every time his name comes up. You are like, what the fucking fuck?
No, how many times does he have to beat up people and have restraining orders? And who's the other idiot who keeps getting
Trey Songz?
What the hell? Am I wrong or that? I mean, I used to are there a million guys who can sing really well?
You know what's weird about the thing with him? I don't really pay attention to a lot about him, but every time I see his name, right, it's always it's something sexual and some woman saying something horrible. And I'm kind of just like, why does this keep floating around you? Why is it this? Why is it this same thing? And then I look to these young ladies and I'm like, just take care of yourself then, like, right? Because it's weird as a man, you and I have gotten to this thing about accusations, and you know how I feel sometimes about an accusation being enough to like derail some shit, like this Michael Irving situation that happened at the Super Bowl. But sometimes it's just like, if somebody keeps having the same type of story around them, I feel like you should just try to err on the side of caution, because that's weird for one person to keep having the same.
But how do we know that they're all right? I'm going to be like, again, devil's advocate. First off, women are taught that we can change a man. Okay, that's our first stupid thing we're told by society. Right. Secondly, women are taught that, he does it to them, he would never do it to me because I'm special. Third, what makes you think that they didn't go into it with eyes open? He just decided to do whatever he did anyway. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, look what happened when Megan Thee Stallion got shot. Did anyone come to her defense? No. Never. And what did she do?
But even her other friend, the female, turned on her for the dude. Right? Because in the beginning, the girl was on her side being like, da-da-da-da-da. Then all of a sudden, all her stories change.
Yeah,
it's really...
There's a basic disrespect. Yeah. And again, and then we can... if you're not in a certain
I just worry for these young ladies, because working around celebrities, I see what that does when people... like, it's so starry for a lot of people, when you get into the room with somebody that you think you love, and you I'm not telling anybody what to do. I'm just like, just be careful, because it's this one person keeps having the same accusation around them.
But has paid no price.
Which is
has paid,
So
and he doesn't even sell a lot of records anymore.
So my question becomes: does that mean that it's accusations and nothing has ever been proven? It's not real. Like, what does that mean?
That means that ultimately they don't care. Look how long it took R. Kelly to get punished. Ultimately, they don't. I mean, they care, but it's like how many,
Well, they definitely don't care when it's black women and black girls.
They just don't
They
care.
just don't care.
And then it's like Scientologists covering up for what's his name, Giovanni. Who's the guy?
Oh no, who's the one? Oh God, is it
Danny Masterson?
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean,
yeah. So I mean, I'm not saying across the board, but it's like, or giving a global impact award to Dr. Dre. I mean,
I definitely thought. Listen, Dre has done a lot of things. I thought that was a really interesting. I did think to myself, because you and I are both like, well, what has he done on the humanitarian side?
I'm sure he's done money. Yeah.
But the flip side to me was, what does that say to all of your female Grammy winners and voters? If you're going to name, like, he's a controversial figure. So, yes, do I think he's a genius? Yeah, I do think he's a genius producer and those things. But he is a controversial figure and does have that history with women, including this really nasty divorce he just went through with his wife. So it's just the timing on that was really interesting. But who runs all of that? Who runs all of that? And men run all of these organizations.
He wrote a check and he's down with Jimmy Iovine. He wrote I mean, that's really kind of all it is. I mean, he wrote a check. Lil Wayne's not a walk in the park either. I love Lil Wayne, but gee, men play by different rules. All right, you can Madonna. I don't care.
Okay, now
I'm gonna go out and get a cup of coffee.
Okay, this is real deal tea. This is a real thing that really makes me sad for Madonna in certain ways. I do think Madonna has faced a lot of ageism when it comes to like playing her records, and they just stopped playing her records. I think she's faced a lot of misogyny. I absolutely believe that. But I think a lot of women have. A lot, especially in the entertainment industry, right? I don't think that's an exclusive thing to her. The thing about Madonna in this latest row about, her appearance and looking different is you've been one of the most photographed women for the last 40 years. You're also not someone who's sitting in the corner being quiet, right? You're very that Madonna energy that we've all known, very sort of, fuck you, I'm a rebel, I'm gonna do what I want. But you come and you make these speeches that always seem, even though sometimes they're about other people, they seem about you, and it's always like you're scolding someone. And you come and you look like a completely different person. Now, the thing is, you first came and we all are assuming that you had some sort of surgery on your posterior because all of a sudden that was different, right?
Right.
But you've been putting all of this in everybody's face. You're all over social media you're saying, look at me. You're doing things to be looked at, okay? So when I hear all of these people being like, and what's happening to her is misogynistic, and people are just, and ageist, no one's talking about how old Madonna is. We're talking about the fact that this is a woman who's all over TikTok, all over Instagram. She's making videos. She's saying, look at me. I want the attention. So people, you have everyone's attention. But now when everybody's looking at you, one of the most famous women in the world, you look like a different person. The shape of your face, everything looks different.
Everything about it. If they hadn't ID'd who she was, would you seriously? Right. It's like when Mickey Rourke came out. Remember when Mickey Rourke had all that crazy plastic surgery? This really, in my opinion, hot looking guy comes out, and you're like, you look like your face is melting.
She looks, and so my problem is the fact that she immediately made it, I'm going to do what I want. You've always done what you want. People love you. You showed up looking like a different person. Yes, the work and all of that stands. But if you are going to constantly be on
the musical work, all of the face.
if you're going to make TikToks and you're going to make all of these videos and you want everybody to look at you, understand when you show up looking like someone else, people are going to have a comment. And quite frankly, it was shocking to see you come out and looking like a completely different person. And even when she says, they get mad at me for wearing my grills, it's like, well, people get mad at you for wearing your grills because when you speak, you can't speak right with them. You're speaking like a person who's speaking through an apparatus in their mouth. And so it seems like there's this dysmorphia going on where she's trying to make it an ageist thing where no one's talking about the fact that you're older. As a matter of fact, older women right now are completely having their own moment. You're seeing all of these women in their 60s doing their thing. What makes it fucked up is nobody thought, you're saying all of these right things, but you're not believing it because you've done all this shit to yourself. And nobody thought you'd be the kind of woman. You were Madonna.
That's the thing. I know.
You were fucking Madonna.
Yeah,
no one thought Madonna would come who would buy into the bullshit, change your body, change your face, and be like, yes, you can do what you want. But you bought into the shit, and then you're looking at all of us who are looking at you saying, we have seen Madonna's body and face from every fucking angle for 40 years. You look like another person. It is shocking. So yes, people are not going to say, wow, there's Madonna. They're going to be like, oh shit, what happened? And then you're immediately talking about misogyny. It's not about that. You have faced misogyny, but this ain't that. No. You have faced ageism when they stop playing your records and all that shit. But this ain't that. You might have to recognize that you've made so many changes to yourself that when you walk into a room, how people should be looking at you in reverence. Like when Prince walked into a room, they're looking at you and they're kind of shocked because you look different.
Right. Well, and also ultimately, she always makes every event about herself. And that just gets tiresome. And I will say this as someone who is a year younger than her, and I'm not saying you have to act your age, but at some point you're like, really? We're feigning blowjobs on videos now? Come on. How much attention do you? I don't think anybody should do that. How's that? I think it's boring.
But how about this? You've done it. You've done it. You've done it. You did it and you were iconic in it. You've done all the things. I don't understand
why if you have to tell people you're shocking and you're a rebel, then you're not shocking or a rebel.
And how about believe the words that are coming out of your mouth? And you bought into all of the bullshit and you change yourself in ways where now it's like when I watch her, it's like, I love Madonna. You know me, like Madonna is my girl. She's my number one. Like people who don't know me that well know I love Madonna. Like Madonna is my girl. I just never thought Madonna would buy into all of the fucking bullshit. Like, and then suddenly be looking at everybody else like they're crazy because we're looking at her like, why this?
Almost every woman in the public eye who's an entertainer, for good, bad, or indifferent, and mainly because of pressure. I mean, when you're 30 years old and getting fillers, there's something very wrong with society, okay? You can blame HD, TV, whatever. There are other women who are at the Grammys who have also had work done. We know it. We know you can look at them. We don't. Listen, we have memories. But
I have no problem with work.
That's fine.
Get the good work.
You do. Well, it's not even.
It is getting the good work because that's not good work.
Or get the bad work, but then don't get mad when people go, you have really. It's like taking something and smearing it all over your face and then getting angry when people go, why is there something all over your face? What do you mean? It's not, you're saying that because I'm old. No, I'm saying that because you have like spinach stuck in every tooth in your mouth, you know? So you can't have it both ways. You can't say, don't judge me because I'm old. And then when you do something, I think I had no idea who that woman was. She looked like a runaway from like The Sound of Music or something. I have what was happening. And she's still wearing the grills like 35 years later.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, come on.
Here's the thing. I have no problem with work. You're Madonna. You have more money than King Tut's tomb. So go get the good work. Yeah, why do you look like she looks like she went to a fucking basement in Queens?
Well, I was going to say, why are you getting the work that like the fourth rate understudies for Love and Hip Hop get? You know?
If the strippers at Scores have better work than you, it's a fucking problem.
Yeah. All right,
get the good work.
Yeah, I don't. You know what? Until she puts out music, whatever with her, it's just going to be like she's like picking a scab. It just keeps growing back. That's a bad analogy. Okay, speaking of growing back. Okay, have you seen the cover of New York Magazine this week?
No, who's on the cover?
It's Kyrie, and it is basically like, it's basically like, what the hell did you, as a Knicks fan, we
loved it. We just sat back and watched the whole thing.
The Nets we're going to buy the best team in the world. Guess what?
They're coming in. They're going to win. The big three are here. They're going to win it all.
They're all gone.
And they only played together for 16 games.
I know,
they're all gone.
They're all gone. I don't know, he will cause like a rumpus someplace.
And then you see his interview? He was like, well, after my first year, this was the plan. I'm like, that's the thing. You're poison everywhere you go.
No, he's going to have a rumpus.
What do you say? Nobody ever talks about my selflessness. I was like,
again,
out of your own mouth, you said that. Well, my hard work ethic. I was like,
no,
what?
you're not supposed to tell people that. They're supposed to tell you. Anyway, he's gone.
Thank goodness.
Yay. Just because it's a distraction.
I loved him when he came in the league. I was huge
he was
Kyrie
amazing,
Irving fan.
Amazing. And so it's just hilarious because it's just sort of like, you want to build something. If they build it, they will come, and they came and they left. James Harden was like, yeah, and you guys thought I was the crazy one.
Right. James Harden was like, I'm out of here.
Right.
Everybody was kind of cursing him out for leaving, and then it turns out it's like
I saw the handwriting on the wall.
The fact that everybody's gone, but they still have Ben Simmons tells you everything you need to know about what's happening in Brooklyn.
Didn't the Knicks win last night?
This
would be we're taping on Valentine's Day, so they won because our public advocate, Jamani Williams, is a huge Knicks fan, and he always posts like the score. So you know what? Are the Knicks going to go to the championship? Probably not, but at least they're not lunatics. The only lunatic on the Knicks is that owner, and please.
But listen, Josh Hart coming was a great addition to the team. RJ better step his ass up because RJ has been terrible this year. Terrible.
We say that sitting on our chairs. Like, when's the last time I played basketball?
I played basketball this morning.
Throwing paper into a garbage can is not playing basketball.
Listen, I took a shower and I moved some balls, so I played basketball.
There you go. I shot my mouth off the other day from a very long distance. Ergo, I hit a 3-pointer.
There you go.
There you go. So we have the authority to make comments about all of it.
So RJ, step your pussy up, because listen.
Hey, why do you gotta make it a pussy? Pussy is good.
Well, that's a homosexual term. Step your pussy
up.
But but pussy can mean it's not just pussy. It has.
I know
more
what
than
it
one,
means.
Yeah,
I know what it means. I know. That's why I love the English, because they say cunt for everybody, and I'm like,
they do say cunt for everybody
and twat for everybody. I love that.
I still love the word cunt. It upsets people though, so I try not to.
You gotta use it, and you gotta.
But see, like in gay, the gay word we use cunty, but now that everybody thinks that they've watched RuPaul's Drag Race and they have a right to gay culture, now you say cunt and people are like, I'm like, listen, don't come in my yard and talk about my barbecue.
When I call a woman a cunt, there's a reason why I'm calling her
me too. Well, honey, if I call a woman a cunt,
I know the difference.
It's real deal tea. If I call you a cunt, you are a cunt, and I'm willing to take the circumstances.
I would like to propose a moratorium before we go into a somewhat more serious part of the show. I would like to propose, as a heterosexual white woman, no cis involved, heterosexual white woman.
I hate when people try to call me cis. I'm like, don't call me that.
Cis. All right. But I would like to propose that straight people need to stop saying slayed and shade.
Oh, and period. I'm so over period.
I haven't heard that one. But
slay,
girl. I don't want to see anybody on The View using the word slay. I don't want to see newscasters. It'd be like
the way they say woke. Because the way they say woke, you might as well just say the N-word. Because the way
that's a whole different. That's a whole different. Yeah, that's. I'm just saying.
There's a bunch of shit we need to ban.
I just don't want to hear. I don't want to hear somebody on a cooking show going, I slayed that omelet. And it's like, no, no, you did not slay an omelet. You made an omelet.
Especially because the eggs were $17.99, honey. You ain't slay shit.
They have come down in price.
Oh, good.
They have come down in price. But if there were ever a reason to become a vegan, it's right now. Like eggs are like, you can buy crack for less than an egg.
I'm glad. And I don't eat eggs, so it didn't even bother me. I'm not an egg person.
All right, let's take a breath so we can go into something. A lot. Oh, wait. I just want to really quickly. I'm sorry. I'm doing something, but we wanted to talk briefly about the Pam Anderson documentary. Did we not want to mention?
I loved it.
I loved it.
First of all, I'm a big Pamela Anderson fan. And
sorry for throwing that in or
something. No.
Yeah.
It was, I love a good doc. Usually when people are involved in the docs, I don't always love them, but I really enjoyed the Pamela
I thought
Anderson.
it was great. And
I thought it was done well.
Now talk about somebody who's had the good work. She looks fantastic.
Yeah. And also, it was really interesting to just see her side of things and that whole tape and just what that did to her and her whole career.
And did to Tommy Lee too.
Mm-hmm.
And people forget that this was the first case when they stole the set, when it was stolen, it was the first case of something going viral. I believe that term was sort of even invented or kind of concocted for them. And yeah, I watched that documentary thinking, you know what? We have thought so poorly of this woman for all these years. She's very smart. She's very self-effacing. She's very self-aware. Tommy Lee's not a bad guy either. I've interviewed Tommy Lee, and he's a really nice guy.
I met him. He's a nice guy.
He's a nice guy. And she was done wrong because she had the audacity to make a decision. I have issues with Playboy, but she made a decision to be in Playboy, and because of that, they said you can't sue over this tape because your body's already out there. And imagine like you do something and people are and they turned down the money for it. They were offered millions and millions
and millions of dollars.
So I think it's on Netflix. Yes.
Yes, it is. And remember, she had to sign the contract for the release, but she was like, I didn't take a dime from it. She said, I still haven't taken a dime from it.
Neither one of them. So I just think it's a really good documentary. I recommend you watch it because it's just another one of these women that we have maligned as a society for years.
And you realize that Baywatch deal, she was the biggest thing to come out of that show, and she makes like in residuals maybe $4,000 a year, maybe?
Yeah, something
for a show that's still running in huge syndication all over the world.
All over the world. Yeah, like I said, it's a really.
And the truth of the matter is, you think of that, you think of her. You don't, even though Carmen Electra and Yasmin Bleeth were on there, that's not who you think of. When you think of Baywatch, you think of Pamela Anderson
and David
Hasselhoff.
Yeah. And I never think of Baywatch because I never watched it, but I know what it is.
I watched.
Yeah, I know what it is. Obviously, I mean, I'm not like oblivious to.
And I used to buy all of her. I still have one of my Playboys with Pam on the cover. Survived the fire that I had.
My God.
Because I love Pam. I love Pamela Anderson.
Well, it's great. It's a really good documentary. All right, now, people sadly die all the time because that's just the way it works. So on a life well lived and sad, but luckily not tragic death, Burt Bacharach died last week at the age of 94. He wrote the songs The Whole World Sings, except that he wrote the music for them, obviously. And, just a great songwriter, great classic American, wrote all of the songs that Dionne Warwick interpreted. Oh, Lordy. He's holding up his Pamela Anderson Playboy. I don't even know what to do with you.
It's on February 1999.
Oh, my God.
Look at how fierce she looks on the cover, though. Look at the thing about Pam is what is amazing.
I'm sorry.
Oh, my God. I forgot.
I'm giving a heartfelt eulogy.
I forgot we moved on.
Legend.
Oh, my God. I completely forgot we moved on.
It's quite all right. It's quite all right. Here, I'll make the connection. Burt Bacharach used to go to the Playboy Mansion there. Okay.
And let me just tell you something.
No,
what's amazing, I played one of my albums this morning. I played Dionne Warwick sings the songs of Hal David and Burt Bacharach, and it's just his songwriting.
The music was
the music, and it just he and Hal David together. That combination is, we don't see that anymore. Now you look. And everybody's got 85 writers on a song, you know what I mean? Or it takes 6 to 8 people to write a pop song. They were writing songs too. Their songs weren't that long. That was back when songs would be 2 minutes and something, 3 minutes.
radio songs.
And the writing still holds up to this day.
Oh, they're gorgeous songs.
They're
absolutely gorgeous songs. I mean, they're gorgeous songs. They were songs that everyone, Luther's interpretation of a house. Oh, they're gorgeous songs.
Right.
Gorgeous songs. His album with Elvis Costello was a fantastic album. God Give Me Strength. That was he's just a fantastic songwriter. And again, I'm not being dismissive. He
had a long, great life. Absolutely.
He had a long, great life. I'm sure you know this. He was Marlene Dietrich's musical director. That's how he kind of got his start. That's kind of how he got his, so a fantastic, fantastic musician. And then, on a much kind of like cut down. Dave, I'm good. Jolia Cure, but Trugoy from De La Soul, 1/3 of De La Soul, the first voice you hear on Me, Myself, and I. He's the lead, the first voice. So he passed away the other day at 54.
You know what makes me sad about that?
He had health problems for a while.
He had a
congestive heart failure.
Yeah. What makes me sad, really, really sad about this is they were fighting for so many years for the rights to their albums and their music. And they finally got it all straightened out. And literally on March 3rd, all of the albums are going up on streaming services. All of the albums will be available for sale. And after all of those years of fighting, excuse me, right when the group is about to have a full resurgence for his health to fail him now, it's like, and not reap the rewards of decades of literally fighting for the rights to their music. You know, it makes it that much more heartbreaking, you know?
And if you don't know De La Soul.
Did you ever interview them?
I think so. I've spent time with them. I have I don't know if I interviewed them, but I've definitely hung out with them a little bit because they did one of the Tibet Freedom concerts and Tribe was there, and I was there as Q-Tip's minder. Not officially, but I was just sort of, and I did meet them, and they were they were just nice guys. They were really nice guys. Tribe got a little bit more of the longevity in terms of they had more hits, but there is no nothing without De La Soul. There's no nothing without any of these guys, and I'm very glad that they were highlighted during the Grammys. They continue, he wrote the hits with Gorillaz. So I think
that's their only Grammy.
I think I saw them with Gorillaz. I think that then when I saw Gorillaz, just a seminal,
so crazy?
Iconic group and worth listening to.
I feel like I saw them live, but I can't remember. That's when it's I've seen so many people throughout the years that there are a lot that I don't remember if I've seen them live.
In fact, I did. I have
faint memories of seeing them live.
If they were at the Tibet Freedom concert, then they were performing. They weren't just in San Francisco to hang out at the Miyako Hotel. I think that they were performing, but I honestly, and this is not a disrespect for them, I can't remember yesterday.
Right.
Yesterday was Monday, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I don't remember anything because
5 days of work, one whole day to play. Come on, everybody, get your roller skates today. It's Saturday. That's my shit. A roller skating jam named Saturdays. So good. And then David Morales did a mix of that. This killer. I'm glad all of that. First of all, I have all of their albums and I have them all digitally, but I'm glad all of that work is now coming back out for the world to reappreciate because it's been really off for way too long. So hopefully now really this will absolutely bring even more attention.
No, I think so. I think it's going to bring I think it's going to focus attention on them. Well deserved. They've always deserved the attention, and I think now, sadly, when bad things happen, people tend to kind of go back and listen to the catalog, and now that catalog, and hopefully his family will reap some of the financial rewards from this. So great group. Tommy Boy always had the best roster. Wasn't a bad group on Tommy Boy.
Man, when they were firing on all cylinders, and they really had. Really, RuPaul, Naughty by Nature, Queen
808
Latifah,
State.
You know what I mean?
No, there was Information Society. Society.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it was an eclectic roster too. It was across and
many different types of music.
The best merch.
Yeah, really good merch. No, remember the Tommy Boy jackets?
Oh yeah, great stuff. They had great merch. All right, what are you listening to?
Well,
for some reason. For some reason, that's what his one-man show is going to be called when he opens up at the Cafe Carlisle.
Well, I have been listening to, and I'm ashamed to say it.
No, you're not. You talk about Isadora every goddamn week. You're clearly without shame, Courtney.
I wanted to see what all the fuss was about Ice Spice.
No, we talked about her the last time.
I know,
and she continues to suck.
But I actually.
Oh, wait. Okay. All right, now, ladies and gentlemen, this is why. Don't try this at home. This is why you can't.
I didn't know what an ice. I didn't know what an ice spice was.
You thought it was a cocktail, right?
But then, and I was like, "I'll take 2 on the rocks, please.
Right.
But make it with the good stuff." I actually don't hate some of the things. Well, she's on this song with Pink Pantheress, who has a new single called "Boy's a Liar" Part 2.
All right, here's what I'm going to do to make money. Listen to me. You and me can make a lot of money doing this. We need to give rappers new names because I don't like these names that these kids have.
But and I really liked the record, and then I clicked on another one of her songs because I have a couple of her songs, and I was like, okay, it's not terrible. It's not terrible.
Bringing endorsement.
Okay, well, it's not.
It's not.
No. What did I say?
Anderson says it's not terrible.
What did I say? A lady who screams at you loud. I don't know. It's kind of like that. But it's not terrible. Well, at least this Pink Panther song, I like that with the Ice Spice. And it was one more she had. I was like, I don't hate this. This is not.
I got to go back because I was instantly like, what's happening here?
I was like, I don't hate it. She's not. She doesn't suck. She actually doesn't suck.
Another ringing endorsement. Yeah. Courtney Anderson. It doesn't suck.
It doesn't suck.
It won't kill you.
And then I've been going back to. I watched this really great interview with Roisin Murphy. Oh. And so it made me dig back into the Moloko albums. So I've been listening to Moloko's Statues album and I Am Not a Doctor and just finding my full life with those records again. Really, really great. Man, the late 90s, early 2000s had some really fierce dance bands and really great albums that I think people should revisit since we're all
after 9/11, everybody got depressed and they never picked up their energy again.
You know, it was a weird time, yeah.
I'm going to try, in the spirit of you giving Ice Spice a second chance, I'm going to try to maybe make it past the first song of the Little Uzi Vert record.
I do like that. I'm going to rock.
I'm going to try because everybody is like losing their mind over it. I'm going to try to not listen to it like a cranky woman and listen to it.
You mean Little Uzi or Little Yachty? Because I know you
Yachty.
Everybody keeps talking about, I like the Little Uzi. I want to rock.
Yeah. Little Yachty. I'm going to try, and then I'll tell you what I'm actually listening to. But I'm going to try because people I really respect are really loving it. But I will say this. When someone says, and he's singing, I don't go to rappers for singing.
Right.
I don't care.
Like Stormzy, you didn't like Stormzy's singing album?
Yeah, I don't care. I mean, it's like saying a basketball player, and he can play soccer. That's great. He's being hired as a basketball player.
And the new Young Fathers album, Heavy, which is
what?
The Young Fathers. Do you like Young Fathers?
I don't know.
Okay, Young Fathers are.
I know of, but I don't know.
They're a trio from the UK. They have a new album called Heavy. It's really different sounding than their other work, but I'm kind of getting into it. Okay. And I told you I've been going back and listening to those early jazz and records of Doug and Jean Carn, which are really fucking amazing. Yeah.
All right, so I mean, I love her anyway, and I'll listen to her even without idiots not knowing who she is. But I've just been listening to all the early Bonnie Raitt stuff. Her debut in like 1973, and all Green Light, and just brilliant interpretive singer. And I was like blasting the jam All Mod Cons the other day. I love that album, and I think I learned more about England from listening to listening to the Kinks and All Mod Cons. Because when I went to England for the first time, I'm like, oh look, there's a tube station. There's a Wardour Street. There's a Waterloo Station. Oh, All Mod Cons, I guess. So I love the jam. I love. Always did. Never got to see him. Very bummed. They never really broke here because they're really English. Like they are super English. Paul Weller's great solo career. So I've been listening to them. All right.
You know what else I pulled out? Wait, hold on. One more that I pulled out. Yeah. I've been listening to Cher's first album on Warner Brothers, which is from 1975. It's called Stars, and Jimmy Webb produced this album.
Oh wow!
And it wasn't a hit album for her, but I really like this album because it was the first one after she left Sonny. It's her first Warner Brothers record, and her singing Jimmy Webb tunes. Just like, I don't know.
Would you agree, though, that one of the worst album covers of all time is All Man, All Woman? When she got together with Greg Allman. Would you agree with me that is possibly the worst album cover
and the worst album. It's 8, and I have that album.
It's a nightmare. It's a nightmare. No, it's not. It's a nightmare.
It's so not
that's
good.
That's what happens when you're in love and you're just like, sure, I'll do that. Yeah, no, that cover was like, oh, Dios mío, what's happening here? I mean, but women think we can change them. I don't know if that's the guy.
What is it with you guys with that? Like,
I don't know, because we're nurturers. We're nurturing.
Right.
We're nurturing.
You're like, he just needs love.
I mean, all those red flags, that doesn't mean anything. That's just a flag that's red. Well, I told you that when I used to do the I Ching with Candace would throw the I Ching, and I kept getting moderation. And like as a joke, I got it tattooed, and of course it's backwards. So it probably means like do something stupid and change. Right. But we'd always go moderation. Yeah, no, we're idiots. Whatever. Oh, by the way, guys, Courtney's going to give his amazing patent pending spiel about our show. But when you do leave a recommendation, could you just say, yeah, it doesn't really suck. A little bit more.
A little bit more.
Just a little. For Valentine's Day.
You know what I'm saying?
Do that for us, please.
Tell a friend.
We love you.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Leave a review. Leave a star. Talk about us. Come on, kids. You guys with us. And we've been growing. We love it. But we need to get these reviews up and our stars up and all of the things. Yeah. We're starting to actually pay attention to that portion of it now. So, you know the deal. If you're listening to us on Apple Music and Apple Podcasts, leave a review, leave a rating, tell a friend. If you're listening to us on Spotify, leave a review.
I'll write the reviews for you. That's right. I'll do it for you.
And in Google and in Deezer and all of Amazon, all of the places. We love it. We see you. And you know the deal. If you want to talk to us all of the time, we're on Facebook at ImmaLetYouFinish, all one word. We're on Instagram at ImmaLetYouFinish, NY. We're on Twitter for now. And one
of us has given up. I'm sorry. I like to pretend I have a Twitter following. Like I'm taking some huge sacrifice by not being on Twitter, you know.
Right. And we're on TikTok at ImmaLetYouFinish podcast, all the places. So thank you for listening.
Thank you for helping us grow. Next week is going to be very fun.
We have a fun guest next week.
Yes. So. He is the king of rock, and we'll just leave it at that.
We'll just leave it at that. So we'll see you then.
Bye, guys.
It's NFL draft season, and that means it's time to start thinking about fantasy football. FantasyPoints.com features industry-leading experts and prognosticators using proprietary hand-charted data to help you score more fantasy points. FantasyPoints.com is the place to go for whatever kind of fantasy football you play. Whether you play fantasy football, daily fantasy sports, or do a little bit of everything, Fantasy Points has the meticulously researched content to guide you to victory. And why wait for the fall? Fantasy Points also covers the new spring football league, the UFL. Join the guru, John Hansen, Scott Barrett, Joe Dolan, and other massive names in the fantasy football universe with an exclusive offer. Use code Pantheon for 15% off any Fantasy Points package, including the all-in package, with access to every article, tool, and data nugget that Fantasy Points has to offer. That's FantasyPoints.com and code Pantheon for 15% off at Fantasy Points. FantasyPoints.com, code Pantheon. Score more fantasy points.